Guys, gals, and in-between pals, welcome back to another episode of Resistance Radio, the only show that's giving you a voice from inside the resistance. As always, my name is Dane Snudden. I'm one of your co-hosts and super communist. Joining me in the studio today is also the chaos queen slash autistic gender bender herself, Emma Embers.
Sup, bitches?
And live and alive from inside of the computer is our AI program, James Harris.
Yeah, Emma, is that you that fucking forgot to pay the bills, which is why I can't be on the episode that releases tomorrow?
Yes, look, the full-size robot is expensive. I don't know what you want from me. You have to be the head in the screen.
But I wasn't
Yes.
even the head in the screen. I wasn't even on it. 0 lines.
That's
True.
true. That's true.
We have another episode of news and reacting to clips, things that have been happening in the area and in the country. So we have a few to react to today.
We also got a new bauble for our studio, and it's a little bust of not Reagan, a little bust of Lenin, because fuck Ronald Reagan. And I like to rub his bald head for luck. So
Yes, that. All right. And before we get to clips, I almost forgot to mention we had a very, very important election that took place this week.
If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made.
People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing.
But do you know what the most significant addiction crisis in America is today? It is the greed of the billionaire class.
This country was built on gangs. You know, I think this country still is run on gangs. Republicans, Democrats, the police department, the FBI, the CIA, those are gangs. You know what I mean?
To the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
It's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.
For those of you that are not aware, Wisconsin is one of the states that does their non-midterm general election in April. So we had things like city council, county board, and even a state Supreme Court election. And those have been very contested, as we've talked about numerous times on the show before. Elon Musk dumping tons of money into the last one, not this one. Honestly, he could have done it. I wouldn't have cared. Because she still would have won, and spoiler alert, she did win. So we have a blue Supreme Court now enshrining women's right to choose, or re-enshrining it, hopefully. And yeah, we're going to just kind of go over a couple of the election results because we had a lot of these people on the show. So Emma, why don't you tell us about the city council?
yeah, so city council, we actually was probably our best showing of the group. Minus Supreme Court, obviously, because there's only one candidate we endorsed, and they won. So, but with City Council, we had gotten John Plagman for District 1, John Shelton for District 4, Doug Orlowski for District 5, Joey Presley for District 6, and then Alyssa Profit in District 7. Alyssa, of course, was unopposed, so she won.
And 3 of them we had on the show.
Yeah, and hopefully would someday love to get Alyssa out there. Doug Orlowski was one that was a surprise win. Really didn't see that one coming, but I had a lot of faith in him. He seemed like a nice guy. But all of them won except for John Plagman for District 1. John ran a great race. He got pretty decent showing, but he just didn't blow it out with Jennifer Grant.
Yeah, and then...
If you're not from around here, Brown County is kind of a weird area. It is a blue city in a red county. So there are areas practically right next door to each other. One of the areas votes consistently left. The other one is diehard MAGA.
Yep. And also, yeah, and the way the districts are done are kind of weird too, because like
I don't have to get into all of that.
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay. And on top of that, there was the county board, which producer Pete was running for. Unfortunately, he lost, but he showed out. He did a very good job. It was a close race. You know, Pete running as an open socialist. I'm sure we can hear more from him probably once we are done reacting. And how many of our Supreme Court candidates that we endorsed got elected?
Or county board?
Or county board?
It was 8 out of 15, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So pretty good showing there.
I think it was pretty interesting though, because a lot of times the candidates that I feel like have the best shots of winning are some of the biggest, boldest personalities that, get out in front of people, they say stuff. It's really big and obvious what they're doing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But especially for Brown County Supervisor, and I mean no offense to anyone by this, I really don't. I really mean no offense. But it seems like some of the more boring candidates won. And what that tells me is that, people are kind of getting sick of some of the ridiculous personas that are attracted to politics. And I think there's strong support for, like, maybe the most boring communist you can imagine, like somebody that just shows up, gets work done.
That's why you should run, James.
I agree. I mean, if we can pass like more rights for AI people, so that way they can actually run for office.
True.
I've been accused
something that I supported in 2020, but
I've been accused of a lot of different things, but Dane, you're the first person in a long time to accuse me of being boring.
I was just playing, comrade. Don't worry.
But
we have some clips. We have some clips we got to react to. So let's get the first one pulled up here.
I guess he's not calling me boring.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court liberal majority grows.
The election was a landslide in a state used to presidential elections decided by less than a percentage point. Jason Calvey's in studio with how Judge Chris Taylor won so handily.
Ted Mary, liberals just cemented their majority through at least 2030. In August, it grows to 5 liberal, 2 conservatives. Here's how Chris Taylor did it. She flipped, for example, Ozaukee County here. You can see that's a place President Trump won by more than 10 points. Check out the right of this page here. You can see how the county favored conservatives in red for Supreme Court, but not last night. Taylor also won in Racine County, another place that picked President Donald Trump for president. This county picked conservatives also for Supreme Court, as you can see there on the right of your screen, in 2019, 2020, and 2023, all signified in the red there, but in 2025 at the bottom of your screen there. And then last night, again in 2025 and last night, it picked the liberal. Maria Lazar also underperformed in her home county, Waukesha. She got 54%, you can see there. That's 4 points lower than the conservative got in 2025. That's way down from what the last conservative to win statewide received in Waukesha County. Justice Brian Hagedorn won 68%. That's the top left corner there of your screen. 68% of Waukesha County he won in 2019. These races are officially nonpartisan, meaning no R's or D's next to candidates' names, but let's be honest.
The Supreme Court races for as long as I've been here, which is over 2 decades now, seem to have been proxy battles really in the larger political wars in the state. And it seems to have arrived at a place where you couldn't really put together a viable campaign because of the money that's required typically without affiliating yourself with one side or another.
That's part of our new Open Record podcast. It'll be ready for you tomorrow. Last night's race was much cheaper than 2025. Last year, Wisconsin set the national record for a court race, more than $100 million spent. That smashed the previous national record, again, set by Wisconsin in 2023. This year's spending was much lower, less than $10 million spent. And by my count, Taylor raised 5 times more than Lazar. Turnout was also down last night. 1.5 million people voted this year. That's more than 800,000 fewer voters than last year when balance of the court was on the line. Ted?
Interesting numbers there, Jason Calvey.
Yes. Very interesting numbers. And just a couple things right off the bat. I mean, it was going to inherently be less spendy than the one that Elon Musk had his grimy little paws all over.
Yeah, because the majority of spending was on the guy who lost.
Right.
So it's like...
And I love, because I've seen a lot on social media of conservatives calling out, conservatives, right, MAGA supporters, are calling out Chris Taylor for spending more money.
Yep. They also called her out for allegedly doing a campaign event in front of her polling place. And they were like, why is she doing a campaign event in front of a polling place? I'm like, it's her fucking polling place. She's probably recording a little, hey guys, I just got done voting for myself. You should too. like
if I have ever seen a pot calling the kettle black, it's that.
Also, that guy's name that they interviewed was Old Father.
Yeah.
That the second I saw that, I was like, hold on, what?
Not all of us have daddy issues, Emma.
Hey, I was just comparing it to Gary Old Man.
Now, I know the first impression is that feels really, really good. Like, this is a liberal candidate, 20-point split, and Wisconsin is the definition of a purple state. Like, statewide elections come down to razor-thin margins. We consistently elect Democrat Tammy Baldwin, who Dane serves as her sleep paralysis demon. And we also consistently elect Ron Johnson, who is a really shitty MAGA senator. So a 20-point swing in a statewide election sounds like a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
But
and
I would like to caution that some of those results did not necessarily carry over to down ballot candidates. And turnout was also a lot less than last year. So I think we're dealing with a couple things here. The first is that, well, MAGA doesn't turn out when Trump isn't on the ballot.
Yeah.
Or he directly tells him to. So that's part of it. Second part, Chris just ran a better campaign than Maria. And I think you put these two things together, that's not all of the swing, but that's a significant percentage of it. Which means that there is the support, but people need to go out and put in the work. Because you got to remember, we are dealing with the same Democrat Party that would rather pay lip service to people than actually accomplish anything.
Yep.
They have an opportunity, but do not underestimate their ability to blow it.
I believe me, I won't. I would like to see friend of the show, Sean Briscoe of CLSB Politics, check him out on YouTube, look at these numbers and kind of break them down.
Well, we do have him coming on, I think, next week, so we could always just ask him then.
That sounds like a plan.
But also, I don't necessarily agree that it didn't have any down ballot sway, because,
I'd say not any, just it wasn't as much.
Okay, that's fair, because, all of our progressive candidates that won by pretty hefty margins, and, Joey in particular, his margin was 250 votes, which last time he ran, it was 15. So...
Yeah.
He's also got incumbent advantage now. I can tell.
Well, that's true, but luckily for Doug Orlowski, incumbent advantage didn't help Craig Stevens.
True. Yeah, but I do think that there is... as much as we don't want to blue anon and get our hopes up, there is a lot of people that are expecting a massive blue wave in November. And, this is definitely going to fuel that. And, Trump wasn't really on the ballot. He wasn't a super huge supporter of Lazar.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it does show that, that shit can happen. This was the most blue anybody had seen in Wisconsin in a long time.
Yep.
I think what that means is there is a real potential for some... I'm not going to necessarily say, Democratic Socialist, but there is the potential for some seriously progressive candidates to get in there. But for that to happen, the left needs to get their shit together, yesterday and start organizing.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think we're doing pretty good, though.
At least around here, yeah. I can't speak for the rest of the state. But yeah, congrats to everybody that we had on the show. And it was awesome having you on. And we didn't have Chris Taylor on, but congrats to her as well. Thankfully, Wisconsin lives to see another day, so to speak.
Indeed.
And for our other clip that we are going to be looking at, well, another one.
Another one.
Is, I'm going to be polite. These little idiots that I keep seeing on my For You page that I don't want to rant about it and not before we watch it. They're called GSD or something on social media. I don't really give a fuck, but James, let's unfortunately watch this. And these kids are 12.
Are we allowed to say fuck them kids? We can cut that.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck them kids.
Okay.
I don't know. Next thing we know, I'm just going to have her VPN location set to Epstein Island.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if BSR cut me saying fuck them kids and was like, see, they want to.
Now I have to keep it because that's too funny.
Okay, fair enough.
One day of protests and guided tours gets labeled insurrection, and we're reminded of it constantly, even through candlelight vigils. But months of blocking, obstructing, doxing federal agents from enforcing federal immigration law get to pass. Consistency shouldn't be controversial. So let's start jailing people for insurrection.
Okay, bye.
Okay, I'm not letting that reloop because I've already lost too many brain cells.
Okay. Who wants to start?
There is
I think I'm
lot.
broken.
There's a lot to break down there. First of all,
including my sanity.
First
you have
of all,
sanity left? Show off.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
First of all, okay, comparing January 6th to fucking ICE raids across the nation is
a leap.
Diabolical. And also, okay, on top of that, people died in January 6th, okay? People died.
Including an innocent grandmother who was just beating the shit out of cops.
Yes. ICE is killing people too, right? We have had a stronger reaction to ICE killing people than we did to January 6th. Like, if you're trying to compare reactions and people died at each one, the reaction to January 6th is not crazy.
For fuck's sake, we re-elected the guy who did it. Like, would it?
Right.
How is it a comparison?
How is this a peaceful guided tour? You literally had a gallows built in the fucking front lawn. One of these incidents was an attempt to violently overthrow the government. The other was a protest against the actions of that government.
Yep.
You can't.
Right.
There is so much distance between that. You could fit fucking both of regular Joe's Yakuhudas in between there.
I love that we've just started using his phrases in our conversations now.
Yes.
And
yeah,
the Mohammedans that are coming for him. You could fit those in that gap too.
Yeah.
But it's just, part of me feels a little bad for these little dweebs.
You were trying so hard to say it the nice way.
Because, I can totally tell that, this is their they're just parroting their parents.
Yeah, it's not their fault. It's not their fault. However, it's still fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are not going anywhere. 10 years from now, you're going to look back on this and you're going to be like, man, this sucks. Because now nobody wants to date me. Nobody wants to be my friend. Nobody wants to accept me into their college.
Or they're gonna turn it into a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, that too. Honestly, they might just start grifting right-wingers, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, the Candace Owens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Clandis Owens.
Clandis.
I love right-wing grifters because they keep the right wing giving away their own money to these assholes, and then it's less for them to hurt us with. So
yes, but so that was our little it was a clip.
Yeah,
sure.
It was one of the clips that have ever been clipped.
Yes.
So for this next one, we have a personal enemy of mine, I guess. Her name is Andrea Dontigny, or Don't Touch Me, as I call her. And she is... I've struggled to come up with a safe way to say this, so I'll just describe her as a MAGA lesbian. Do with that what you will. So for this first one, for Andrea, this is where she went to visit Soul Purpose in the Mall, which is an amazing pro-LGBT store run by a couple friends of ours, Sly, who's a friend of the show.
Mm-hmm. And former guest.
Yeah, and former guest multiple times. And this is basically her experience in there, let's say.
Y'all have been DMing me about Soul Purpose, a store in the mall in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and allegedly they have a trans library geared towards kids. I happen to be in Green Bay, so we're going to check it out. I have to wipe the gay off of me. There is a such thing as too much gay, and that place is it. I feel like a walking rainbow because I breathe their glitter air. Anyway, to their credit, I didn't see any trans books for kids. I honestly didn't. They had a couple little manga books, but those were for 16 and older. I do know that on their Facebook page, someone was asking if they could donate trans books for kids, and Sole Purpose said, absolutely, we'd love to have those. So if that changes in the future, we'll talk about it. But to their credit, Super Gay Store, didn't see a ton of kids stuff. I did, however, find this cute little pamphlet. What is a trans sanctuary? Well, we're going to find out together. A sanctuary, like they're proposing in Outagamie County, is a place that actively protects transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming. Isn't that just non-binary?
Okay. I don't even know where to start with this. And actually, I do know where to start. I do know. I want to say one thing. That fucking pamphlet that they are holding comes from Hate Free Outagamie, which is a LGBTQ rights organization that I am great friends with. I've organized with numerous amounts of times.
A lot of our friends are part of it, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, fuck her for, like, slandering HFO like that, because those are comrades over there, and that's their flyer.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm not... I think you have more to say than I do.
Okay, first of all... Huh?
You're not supposed to take the material they have there. It is plain. It's in a plain English sign. She stole that. Second,
yeah, and to add on to that, I went in there today, and it was immediately like, boom. Don't take this.
And second, first of all, motherfucker, you walk into this store trying to find evidence that trans people are deliberately targeting children to try and force them to become trans. And then the first thing you say when you walk out is that you did not find any evidence for that. Then you proceed to shit on the store for 20 minutes for no fucking reason, and you have to wipe the gay off you. Bitch, you're a lesbian, and last time I checked, homosexuals are gay. It's not something you can wipe off you. No matter how MAGA and stupid you try to be, bitch, you're still gay.
That was excellent. That's going to be a baller short.
I like that, James.
That was so much better than me. Anyway, so what I was just going to say was something slightly similar about the wipe the gay off, which is I was like, bitch, you're a lesbian. You are gay. Like, I mean, since gay is often used as a broad term as well as just applying to gay men. But, yeah.
You know what? You know what's funny? I actually watched a video essay about gay, transphobic, right-wing grifters. Like, there's a market for this shit now, and it's like
Dave
Jeffree
fucking
Star,
Rubin.
like Dave Rubin, Jeffree Star, like whoever the fuck she is.
Dave Rubin got fired from The Blaze for being gay and getting married and wanting to have kids.
Yeah.
Like, for fuck's sake. But another thing with her, sorry.
I was just gonna say, and then like I love it when like conservatives love this shit.
Oh, they eat it up.
Love it when there is somebody of an out group, right, that identifies. It's like why they love black cops, right? And they're like, oh, you know, like, how can we have systemic racism? We have black police officers. Like, do you think they're bad too?
That's going to be a little more obvious in the next clip too.
Or the whole ICE can't be racist because X% of ICE members are Hispanic.
Right.
Well, yeah, Enrique Tarrio leads the Proud Boys, and he's Latino. Like, you can still be Latino and a Nazi.
Yeah.
Brown Nazi.
But yeah, no, the thing about her that's always funny, you'll notice the more of her videos you watch, is she does this trick all the time where she's like, you know, this is what's going on over here. And then she goes in and does her little expose and then comes out and is like, well, actually, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. So, yeah, you know. But still.
Right.
And it's just standard conservative bullshit. Like, you can't find, like, what Utah passed an anti-trans sports bill, and they couldn't find an example of a single trans athlete in Utah that it would apply.
I mean, it's everything. It's voter fraud too. I mean, everything they believe in is like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, people from discrimination, harassment, and harmful policies. What? Where? Harmful policies like telling you that you can't cut your kids' body parts off, and that you can't compete in women's sports if you're a boy? Where are you being harmed? I wish there wasn't more, but there is.
Where we're being harmed is trans people in Kansas had their licenses that they already had set up revoked and were given no window whatsoever to go get new ones, and also are no longer able to drive because the licenses are suspended. So if they drive to get a new license, they can be pulled over and then in big trouble.
Yeah.
That's where we're being harmed. We're being harmed in women getting constantly transvestigated, cis women being constantly transvestigated as trans because they don't look womanly enough, which, by the way, Andrea, you don't fit their description of a woman, by the way. So wait for your transvestigation. It's coming. I mean, it's how can you look at anything that's happening that's policy? Like, what other group in this country has 700 bills across the country being passed just targeting them? And that's the reality that trans people have right now. So no, fuck off, bitch.
Yeah, and
fuck your ass back down to Alabama where they say war instead of where.
Yeah, and I mean the trans sports thing is just like, it's such a non-issue again. Like we talked about earlier, it doesn't exist.
No,
like what was it? The NCAA said there was like 10 athletes or something
Riley
like that.
Gaines' whole thing wasn't even that she lost first place.
Fifth.
Yeah, she didn't even lose first place. She tied for fifth, and like, you're already fifth. Why the fuck do you care at that point? Like, it's such an obvious grift.
And look, there is a conversation to be had about what the rules should be to maintain fair sportsmanship. Like, right? Riley Gaines was absolutely dominant at the start. It means, okay, slightly adjust your policy. That's it. It's a complete fucking non-issue. Emma, Dane, how many trans individuals have medaled in the Olympics?
0.
Correct.
Before or after I did. I never medaled in the... I read it as medaled, so I was like, oh, I'll medal.
Not a single trans athlete has ever gotten a medal in the Olympics. How many trans athletes do you think have competed in the Olympics?
I know for a fact a few.
Yeah, I'm going to guess 5.
Nope.
2. 1?
Who?
Wow.
This is a non-fucking issue.
Who's the one?
All right. Hold on. The stat I read was slightly outdated. It's 4. It's 4, and none of them got medals.
Okay, well...
Obviously, this is a massive problem.
If they're watching it enough to nitpick that, then...
Local protections against anti-trans laws through non-enforcement policy. Huh? Access to medically endorsed gender-affirming care without barriers. That's code for... I get to change my gender and have cosmetic surgery, and somebody else in the state of Wisconsin needs to pay for it. Local protections for healthcare providers against prosecution. Oh, you mean healthcare providers who perform surgery, cosmetic surgery on children. Trans sanctuaries have been established.
You do realize that there's not a fucking insurance plan on the planet that covers cosmetic surgery, and trans surgery on minors has been super illegal since fucking forever. It literally doesn't fucking happen here.
I love how she reads a line and then she'll be like, so they're saying, and then says something that's like, it'd be like if I was like, if I told you that I really like to eat apples and then you go to James.
So what you're telling me is you like eating ass?
Right, yeah, like, it's just.
And also the way she reads every line with that baby voice. Like, shut the fuck up, bitch. You're not even trying to give this a fair look. She's also not saying anything. Yeah. She's literally just like saying, well, what if this was even worse than it actually is? Okay. What else?
A safe haven. Move to those cities then! Stand with us and demand a trans sanctuary in Outagamie now. Oh, now we're demanding things. Okay. Yeah, because you have to have this, because you deserve this, because everyone else has to bend over for 1% of the population. And you need the straight people who are much more privileged than you to stand with you to demand that you get special treatment. No. Immediately.
Okay, so
here's only person she wants to bend over is Trump.
Or bend over for him. So, quick thing about that. First of all, she stole that book, by the way.
Pamphlet, but yeah.
Pamphlet, yeah. She, it was in the thing, and when you go in there, as we mentioned before, it literally says on the sign right there, don't take these.
Yeah.
Just, read it, and then you put it back. That's how it works. It's a nice little free library.
Mm-hmm.
And she went in there, and the employee that was in there told her that she could not take it, and she took it anyway. So she stole that fucking book.
Yeah.
That's first of all. She stole it. Plain and simple. And then ripping it up afterward, okay, super childish, whatever. We already went over like a bunch of stats on why it is actually an issue that people are coming after trans people. I don't know why you would, like, you're literally coming after trans people right now while saying that you're not doing it. So
Right.
It's just a very bizarre thing that she does. I don't know.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, so she also decided to weigh in on the Safe Haven Wimberger thing, which is why when she said Safe Haven on the thing and made that face, I was just like... And she's also done like 6 or 7 different videos on the Safe Haven thing. Yeah. I didn't know the exact... I didn't remember how many it was exactly, so I was just like, I'll do 6, 7, because that's funny. Also, I think Dalton's still listening. But yeah, it was like 6 or 7 videos about the Safe Haven and Eric Wimberger situation. And in this first one, which we're going to go over, she literally does the same thing she did with Sole Purpose, where she's like, you know, this thing happened. Well, actually, okay, maybe it didn't happen that way and it was more like this.
Yeah. Also, like, where is she from?
Alabama.
Why the fuck is she here?
Her son's here, she claims. It's in one of her videos. I've watched so many of her videos. I've been like doing a lot of Oppo research. But yeah, she said that she's lived in Green Bay for many years, and then she has a son here, but she lives in Alabama, and she has like a whole video where she's like, Alabama's so much better than Wisconsin. But yet she still keeps fucking coming up here, so guess it's not that much better.
All right.
She does look like the type that would prefer cousin fucking, though, so...
Some early morning local politics before I head out of Wisconsin. This one comes out of Green Bay. I've been hitting them pretty hard. Who is Eric Wimberger, and why are supposed animal rights activists upset with him over homeless people? Get ready for a political breakdown. If you're local to the Green Bay area, you've seen this all up and down your feed for the last couple days, but to really understand this problem, you have to go back to January. Back in January, this place called Safe Haven Pet Sanctuary, which had permits to be a pet sanctuary, started housing homeless people during a cold snap. They got in trouble for that because they didn't have the permits to house homeless people. Safe Haven said, but wait, you guys are just big jerks, we're trying to do a good thing. And the city said, doesn't matter your intention, you're not allowed to do it. Flash forward a ways and enter NewCap. I touched on this when it happened. NewCap is a nonprofit out of Wisconsin that has homeless resources. They had a shelter in Green Bay. They got in trouble for fraud and mismanagement of funds, meaning they had to shut down their downtown Jefferson Street location over ethics violations. Eric Wimberger was part of that investigation. Flash forward to March 20th, so just a couple weeks ago. Safe Haven Pet Sanctuary said, well, if you won't let us house homeless people in our pet sanctuary, we'll just take over the old NewCap building and house homeless people there. Sounds great. The issue is, when NewCap had the building, aside from their misappropriation of funds and ethics issues, for the most part, they were doing pretty good things. They were vetting people, they had background checks, they had a sobriety requirement to stay at the shelter, all kinds of perimeters to be housed in that neighborhood. Safe Haven boasts themselves as a low-barrier shelter. No background checks, no sobriety requirement. If you're homeless, you get a place to stay. Insert State Senator Eric Wimberger out of De Pere. Now, Eric went over to Safe Haven, the new shelter where people were having a fire apparently to mourn one of their friends, and he went about things the wrong way. He was mean, he was angry, he said unkind words, and rather than take things up with the government that he's a part of, he was just a really cruel person to these homeless people. Eric's argument is, I don't want homeless people who I don't know, and no one knows what their background is or what they're bringing in my neighborhood, and I didn't vote on this, and nobody was asked, and I get where he's coming from. Did he go about it the wrong way? Yes, but that doesn't mean he's wrong. Green Bay, Wisconsin has 7 homeless shelters. I believe Safe Haven will be its 8th, and the homeless problem is not slowing down anytime soon. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And they keep throwing more and more free stuff at these people, and it's not solving the root issue. The unfortunate fact of the matter is that homeless shelter success stories are few and far between. And that sucks, and it's sad, but as much good as you want to do, shelters, you're not doing it. you're actually causing harm, and you're causing harm to the surrounding neighborhoods, the kids in those neighborhoods, and the local economy, especially in situations of these low barrier shelters, these we accept anyone shelters. That doesn't hold people accountable. It doesn't help them get ahead in life. It doesn't help them get out of homelessness. This says, come as you are. We don't care if you're sober. We don't care if you use here. We're all about harm reduction, meaning we'll even give you the things to use, but hey, at least you're not on the street. And I see you over there, you do-gooders of Green Bay, with your purple hair and your Bibles, and I get it, okay? I get it. You want to do the right thing, and you want your little photo in the paper saying, I did the right thing. But continuing to build shelters in Green Bay and making them more and more and more accessible and not holding anyone accountable and saying, oh, well, come as you are, is not doing the right thing, and it is not good for anyone. You're creating a bigger problem. Was Eric wrong? Yes. Was his message correct? Also, yes.
All right.
What the actual fuck?
Okay.
I don't have as much to say about this
Hold
one,
on.
but I do just want to point out.
I got something.
Okay.
First, I love how fucking disingenuous she is. Starts off with, the homeless shelter was shut down for ethics violations. No, bitch. Nothing at the shelter was wrong. Newcap itself was shut down for fraud. You make it sound like the homeless shelter was a horrible place. Right. Second, it's goddamn hilarious that even this shitbag of a human being can't defend Eric Wimberger.
Yeah, no. He's pretty insufferable.
And final point, like, you're saying this causes more harm than good. Cite a source. Like, right. I was wrong on a previous thing. It's 60% of homeless people have jobs, but you're just blatantly claiming that this causes damage to the economy and local neighborhoods by helping people. Like, first of all, if you don't want to help them, where the fuck do you think they should go? They can't just disappear.
Yeah, because I know that she doesn't want the government to give handouts to them.
Yeah.
So, like, they literally, and I've said this on my TikTok, they want homeless people to die.
Well, yeah, because if you notice, she didn't offer a single solution once. Like, she literally just was like, you can't have them on the streets. You also can't have them in shelters. But she never said you have to have them here. Because she doesn't care. None of them care. Eric doesn't care.
Why the fuck do we... Okay, first of all, number one, to background check somebody, you need an ID. Most homeless people do not have IDs.
Yep.
Number two, why the fuck do you need to background check a homeless person? Like,
because they want the reason.
Why the hell does it matter?
Because
like,
they want to find.
House.
They want to find reasons to treat them as less of a person, basically. Like, they want to know which ones are former sex offenders or whatever, so that way they can treat them like less of a person. They can be like, why are we helping this person if they're a sex offender? Why are we helping this person if they have multiple criminal things? This guy's about to die. Why the fuck are we helping them? That's what it's about. It's about finding reasons to dehumanize them, and that's what we do in our society all the fucking time. Like, they hated me when I was homeless because I was a goody two-shoes, and I just ended up homeless because of a bad situation, and that was it. And there was nothing for them to go after me for and dehumanize me for, and there was power in that, which was nice. But not a lot of people have that. And in fact, most people don't. And it's also important there with the... She kept conflating Safe Haven and Safe Haven Hope Center. They're two separate things. Safe Haven Pet Sanctuary does the pets. Safe Haven Hope Center does the people.
And also, bitch, my motherfucking sons grew up at Safe Haven, okay?
Yes.
So, keep my son's name out your fucking mouth.
Exactly. And also, keep all of our fucking names out of your fucking mouth, you gross-ass Alabamian cousin fucker.
The thing that I really don't get about this is that the cheapest way to deal with homelessness problem is to just build them like a college dorm ass place. You know, the kind of place you can clean out with a pressure washer if you really need to.
Yeah.
Give people a place with a roof over their head, a comfy bed to sleep on, and a place to store their shit. Because that is literally cheaper by a significant margin than what we are doing now. Because homelessness is really goddamn hard on the body. You end up in the emergency room often, and if you're homeless, you don't have the money to pay for that.
And they also love to talk about root causes. Well, the root cause of homelessness is not having a fucking house.
Right.
So you give them a fucking house. Guess what? You've addressed the root cause of homelessness. I solved it for you. You're welcome.
because this is my Super Bowl. I've got my We the People Support Donald Trump shirt. That's what I went with in a little bit. Lazy today. I just got off of a road trip last night. So good to be home. But what are y'all wearing for Bridge and Power Plant Day? Are we going like full patriotic? Are we supporting Donald Trump directly? Is there Pete Hegseth merch out there that I don't know about? Because I would love to wear that man's face.
I'm pretty sure Pete Hegseth merch is just a bottle of vodka, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Also, I've never heard a single fucking person other than her ask for Pete Hegseth merch. Like, really? Hegseth? That's the one? Like, even Donald Trump is more interesting to have merch of than fucking Pete Hegseth.
Oh, but we're getting to why she likes him. Don't worry.
A t-shirt, you dirty birds. I'm excited. Who's having a barbecue? What should I bring? It is Bridge and Power Plant Day, my dudes. Iran is going to feel our wrath today. Donald Trump is in the FO portion of FAAFO. And honestly, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. So who else is excited for this? How are we feeling? Are we going to stay up all night and like wait for it to happen? Is it like a New Year's Eve type situation? Because I remember when I was a kid, right around 2001, maybe early 2002, when we dropped the boom through the night vision camera. We had to watch it on the news. Now we get to watch it in real time, which is exciting because every day I'm watching a play-by-play like I'm watching my favorite sports team. So how are we feeling? What are we wearing? And who's having a cookout for Bridge and Power Plant Day?
Well, it's good for you to come back with your Against All War shirt when we're talking about MAGA Lesbian literally going, I love the play-by-plays of war. Show me more kids getting blown up. I love that shit.
If she loves it so much, why doesn't she join?
Well, she apparently wants to wear Pete Hegseth on a t-shirt. That was so funny, Andrea. That was a great joke. Like, the cringe is off the charts. I'm a fan of saying, like, be as cringe as you want to be. It's fun. Let's not be too serious.
Be yourself, queen.
Yeah. But in this case, don't be yourself, queen. Don't let your cringe be cringe. Just fucking go away.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if she released a video in tears after Donald Trump backed down. But look at this bloodthirsty ass motherfucker. Like, you don't need to agree with the government of Iran. I'll say it. Fuck the government of Iran. They're terrible.
Yeah.
They're terrible, terrible people. You know, you can criticize the people of Iran all you want, but that does not change the fact that these are real humans, just as human as you, me, or anybody else, and you are fucking pumped to watch them die.
Okay, so
also, wait, hold on. As an anti-war activist, like that's where I started. I'm wearing, shout out to Against All Odds. I'm wearing an Against All War shirt. Okay, as an anti-war activist, I will also say fuck Iran, right? Normally, obviously, it's different when they are being invaded by an imperialist force. But yeah, like it's.
I don't love the government of Iran. I just don't want you to kill their fucking children.
Right.
It's over 100 girls were killed on the first day of these bombings. I hope you watch that over and over again, you sick fuck. Over 100 children, you cantankerous cunt.
We've got one more clip for you tonight, and it's an interesting one. I'd just like to lead off with, I don't condone any of the actions in this video. I don't know who this person is, but they're despite everything, like their actions have caused a lot of people to be out of work. I don't care about the economic damage to the company, but this put lives at risk. It put a lot of people out of work. It put a lot of livelihoods at risk, and I think all of us know how hard it is to keep food on the table and a roof above your head these days.
That is true, and I know what we're going to be watching here. I haven't watched it yet, but that is a really good point, and that is why one of my favorite books of all time, How to Blow Up a Pipeline by Andreas Malm, he talks about property destruction and how to do it a little bit more ethically so you do not run into that issue. Like targeting a place where people work is not ideal. In any scenario, right? Even when you're not doing it for a good reason. But even if you are doing it for a good reason, there's better things out there. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I can definitely sense that we're gonna get clipped the fuck out on this one. But
fuck it.
Here we go. Let's go.
should have paid us enough to fucking live. You know, we may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to fucking live. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. There goes your inventory.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. That was based as fuck.
Yeah, no, give me
Like-
that on a t-shirt. Like, what are we talking about here?
Like, major Luigi vibes.
Yeah, that was partially why I said we're gonna get clipped the fuck out, because my immediate thought was Luigi. I mean,
And, you know,
obviously I'm gonna bring that
we're
up.
all fans of Luigi.
Yeah.
And
the video game character.
Yeah, the video game character. And so, like, it totally, like, I get the reasoning for sure. Like, you know, we are, and I'm sure this is something like what you're going to say, James. Totally understand the reason, right? Like, we're getting to a point in time, especially with labor and, you know, factory work like that. I mean, we're living in a Gilded Age now. We're going to start seeing another militant labor movement if people aren't getting paid more. Like, it's not that much. I guarantee you the CEO of that company is probably not even blinking at this.
No.
Like, let them eat cake.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it is, because, like, we've reached a point now in this country where the fucking president of the United States is telling us that we can't afford nice things like childcare and Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security and all that shit. But we can't afford this brand new war that he wants to do in Iran that we can't possibly fucking win. And asking for a $1.5 trillion on-paper budget, which is almost double in the real term numbers. And people are seeing, like, CEOs cuddle up to him and give him all these nice gifts, and then he takes their side on everything, eliminates the CFPB.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're going to get people that are finally saying, all right, fine, you said let them eat cake, and I'm saying, fuck you. I'm just going to, you know, cut off everybody's heads, like in the French Revolution.
One thing before James goes. Luigi's favorite book was The Lorax. And there's a quote that friend of the show, Jay Gibbs, has the Lorax tattooed. I love the Lorax. I'm thinking about this quote getting tattooed. I love this quote. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not.
Yep.
Fucking feel that.
Well, I mean, look, and the other thing that they taught us, too, with Luigi was they said all those companies, like Blue Cross Blue Shield, I think was the most famous one, they were considering a new change where they would actually start charging for anesthesia.
Yeah.
And then Luigi happened, and then all of a sudden they went, maybe we don't want to go with that. Let's just drop that. So they already taught us that, unfortunately, one of them getting shot in the back is actually pretty effective at making them change their shitty policies. So now more people are going to go, well, if it worked then, what can we make them change by setting this paper warehouse on fire?
Now, I am fully aware that I am not as far left as some of, well, your other two co-hosts.
I was going to say, as both of you.
As both of you. Yeah, I describe myself as slightly far left. And don't worry, Dan, I'll give you plenty of chance to push back on me. 'Cause I believe, I don't like capitalism, but I believe that it's a beast we're stuck with. But motherfucking Henry Ford, the guy who invented soul-crushing assembly line work, the man who inspired Hitler, even he understood that when he paid his workers enough to buy the product they were manufacturing, it was better for the local economy and his business itself in the long picture. And clearly, a lot of companies don't understand that now. And the problem is, and again, not condoning this activity, but when you back somebody into a corner so hard that they have nothing left to lose, like, this dude filmed this and put it on the internet. He knew going into it that he was going to get probably 20 years for aggravated arson. He planned this out to perfection. He lit one fire earlier, called the fire department in, because he knew that policy states that after a fire you shut off the sprinkler system to avoid damaging more inventory, and then he lit another fire to make sure the whole thing went up. Like, this was a man...
Yeah.
I have no idea who this person is or what motivated him to do this. But this is a man that decided, yep, fuck it, I'll take the 20 years. Like, you cannot push people to their breaking point. Like, you wonder why there's a mental health crisis in America. This is why.
Yeah, and also it shows in how they price everything too, because they've just decided now, more to your point, like instead of deciding the Henry Ford thing where they're like, well, if we pay you more, you can spend more on our stuff.
By the way, all of that Henry Ford did was because of a militant labor movement. Like that has
he
to
didn't want to be next.
Right.
And but like what they're doing now, instead of doing that, is they're just saying, well, fuck it, we'll just price everything for the wealthy and then sell it to the wealthy because they can afford it and not give a fuck about everybody else. And that's why the price of everything has been steadily going up to the point where we can't afford it, because they literally just went gentrify fucking everything for the rich.
And yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you, you know, a lot of your points there, James. And I mean, I do think that when somebody is backed into a corner, I mean, it's the same argument that I had with Palestine. Like, when you back somebody into a fucking cage their whole life, feeding them scraps or less, like, they're gonna go feral. Like, that happens in Appeal to Nature here. That happens in nature. That's just a function of, like, being a living thing. And so the fact that he was able to risk, he was fine with the risk, and that
wasn't even a risk. That was
knowingly. Right? Yeah, knowingly. Like he knew what he was doing. Same thing with Luigi, right? Same thing with all of these people. And it's I mean, his message, like what he like, you should have paid us enough to fucking live, and just remember that your tax dollars are going to killing people. They're
including
not
over 100 girls, Andrea.
Right. So, unfortunately, you know, I would love to see things be peaceful. Totally. You know, I don't like war, obviously. When shit gets this bad,
no war but class war.
Shit happens. Like, it's, I don't know. I'm glad nobody got hurt. And I don't, you know, condone, obviously, things like that. That would, you know, if there was deaths, I would be completely different tune. Yeah. But
your tax dollars are going to kill people. A huge chunk of them are going to kill people in direct, immediate ways that make the evening news. But a significant portion of the rest of your tax dollars are going to kill people in ways that never make the evening news. They go to subsidizing companies like Amazon, who pay their workers a starvation wage, and somebody will die a slow death of malnutrition and lack of access to medical care, and it never makes the news because there's a million stories like that every single fucking day. And I think a big reason why there's not more support for the people of Palestine is because, from our perspective, some of this stuff sounds just ridiculous. Like, you have a lot of people knowingly going into attacks where they know their life will end. I'm saying that for YouTube algorithm reasons, you know what I'm talking about. And to someone who's lived in a Western country that hasn't faced that much severe hardship, that sounds alien. That sounds like, oh my God, that is a scary, terrifying religion. What the fuck? Nobody should ever believe in that. But that's not what it is. You just have people that have literally nothing to lose and no future to look forward to, and then ending your life to possibly make some difference for future people makes a lot more sense. It's got nothing to do with Islam.
Yeah, I mean, and I've said it before, and I will say it again. The greatest radicalization tool to all of you internet leftists that are watching, it's not reading Lenin, it's not reading Capital, it's not having a book club. The greatest tool of radicalization is real life experience.
Yep. It's what radicalized all of us.
Yeah. So, I mean, this, there was some interesting clips.
I didn't expect to get so heated with that.
But I mean, hey, it's a raw show. We keep it honest here at Resistance Radio. But before we wrap up, we do just want to give, again, a thanks to everybody that's been supporting the show, following us, you know, a lot of our friends that are on the show. We have some really special guests lined up for you. We actually did an interview today with a very special guest that'll be up. And we want to thank you all for the continued support. Hitting 100 subs was something that was on the bucket list, and we got that because of you guys. So Thank you for supporting us, and we're just going to keep giving you guys a better show.
Also means next episode I'll be in a dress.
Yes.
Because the goal was 100 for me to go in a dress.
And hopefully James will have his Bigfoot expert hat finally.
Hopefully. If they stop being buttholes.
I should have put this at the start of the episode, but fuck it, I put it here. If you're interested in being part of the show, we need somebody who's better at video editing than me. We need somebody that is good at thumbnails. Now, the only thing I can offer you at the moment is lots of flattery and consistent shout-outs. Shout out to producer
And also maybe occasionally taking him to lunch or something. If you're local.
Yeah, something like that.
Right on as an expense.
Yeah. To the expense account that we have.
None of us are making any money on this. I am probably like $500 in the red by now, but...
I was going to say, if anything, we owe to the show.
We do this because we like doing it, and we care. And if you're motivated by the same kind of stuff, definitely reach out. We've got a professional email in the top of our channel page.
Yes. And as always, get active, get wise, and get organized.
Stay trashy goblins, and don't be an unfrosted Pop-Tart unless you're Rick Rossin and you're a cool one.
And always remind Emma to pay her AI bills.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Or don't, it's fine.